Hi guys, welcome back. I don't know how the last few months have been going for you guys so far. I hope you're staying safe and taking care of yourself and the people you love. But I have noticed that probably a lot of you have been doing the same as me, that is, fleeing into books and maybe also acquiring books. And so I thought it might be interesting to take a hard look at my TBR, how it is at this exact point, which books I have ahead of me and which ones I'm the most excited about. So I thought I would film the TBR tag, which was created by a blog called Perfection Called Books, which I will link down below, and you have to ask the owner access to go onto the blog. But the questions will be listed in the description box, so if you feel like doing a similar retrospective on your own TBR, you can do that as well. Be sure to tell me when you're going to do it, and if you post your video, then I can go and check it out, because I think it's quite interesting from time to time to take a look at one's TBR. So the first question is, how do you keep track of your TBR pile? And TBR for me means different things, or can mean different things. I have a actual to be read pile, so that means books that I actually own physically, as well as books that I am interested in and I have downloaded on my Kindle. But I also have a Goodreads shelf that is my want to read, which contains books that I'm potentially interested in at some point. I haven't acquired them yet for a reason or another. I don't have unlimited amount of space, and I don't want to have too many books here either, because at some point it just gets overwhelming. So these are the two different things. So I have my want to read on Goodreads, and on Goodreads as well, and on an Excel file, I have my actual TBR. So the physical books that are on my shelves, as well as the books that are currently on my Kindle. Question number 2 is your TBR mostly in print or on ebook? And I have checked my Excel sheet, and about 75% of my books are in print, which doesn't surprise me. I mostly have books that I can get for free, so older classics on my Kindle. I don't tend to buy a lot of ebooks. I haven't fallen down onto that rabbit hole of the cheap ebooks, because I am kind of scared that I will lose touch of all the stuff I have on there, and having a lot of my books physically shows me how many books I have and that I should concentrate on the ones that I own. So yeah. Question number 3 is, how do you determine what book from your TBR to read next? If you've been here for a certain amount of time, I have probably said that already quite a few times. I am a huge mood reader, and I cannot stick to a TBR. That's why you don't see many TBRs on my channel. And I can set myself specific broad goals, but usually I just go on a complete whim depending on my mood and what I want to read or what I feel like reading at the exact moment where I feel like picking up a book. So there's actually really no rule in how I choose my books from my TBR. Question number 4 is, what book has been on your TBR the longest? And that is East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I bought this when I first started getting back into reading, after my master's, and yeah, still haven't read it. It doesn't look big, but the pages are super thin, and I think it's almost 600 pages, and this book has been intimidating me for a while, and that's probably why it's been on my TBR the longest. Question number 5 is, name a book that you recently added to your TBR. So here I'm going to name 2 because I have 2 kinds of TBRs. So for my want to read list on Goodreads, so it's not a book that I own yet, and I'm thinking of getting it at some point. And that is Split Tooth by Tanya Tagaq, who is an Inuk author from Canada, and I have been following kind of her music, and it's kind of fascinating me, so I want to pick up her debut book at some point. but I don't own it yet. But a book that I do own on my TBR, and it's the latest addition to my TBR, is John Boyne's A History of Loneliness. This is a book that's been on my want-to-read list on Goodreads for a long time, and a very, very dear friend of mine, whom I haven't seen for quite a while, I met up with her a few weeks ago, and she kindly bought me this, and I'm super, super excited about it, because I've been meaning to read more of John Boyne since I absolutely loved The Heart's Invisible Furies. And I also noticed that I don't have many Irish books left on my shelves, which I need to remedy too before the Irish Readathon next March. So yeah, really, really excited about this one. Question number 6 is name a book that's on your TBR specifically because of its beautiful cover. And in my case, it's a book that I've also, to my shame, owned for quite a while and haven't gotten to, and that is The Binding by Bridget Collins. I remember seeing this in a bookshop on the new book section, and I don't really follow new releases that much, so I hadn't heard anything about it, and I have since seen people talking about it and having read it. It seems to be quite a split opinion, so I'm also really interested to see on which side I fall on, but yeah, this is probably one of the most prettiest books on my shelves right now. Question number 7 is name a book on your TBR that you never plan on reading. I don't own a book I never plan on reading. I feel like that's a waste of space. But I do own complete works on my Kindle of the American crime fiction novelist Anna Katharine Green, whose novel The Leavenworth Case I read not too long ago. You can go and check out my review of that. I got the bundle of all her detective novels on ebook because it was really cheap, and I thought if I like her, then I can read more of a book. And I feel like I might not read that whole complete works in general, but I don't think I will never read anything more by her, so I don't think I own any book that I don't plan on reading. Question number 8 is name an unpublished book on your TBR that you are excited for. I don't have any. I don't really follow new releases that much. I prefer to hear reviews from people and seeing if I might like it before I spend any money on it. But, you know, at the same time, there's just too many good backlist books and too little time to begin with. Question number 9 is name a book on your TBR that you feel like everyone has read but you. That is probably Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. Probably because a lot of people, especially on here on this platform, have read it before the newest movie adaptation came out. I feel like there were a lot of read-alongs going around at that time. But yeah, I feel like everyone and their mother and their dog has read this. So yeah. Question number 10 is a book on your TBR that everyone recommends to you. The thing is, I feel like the people with whom I talk about books, may it be online or offline, have very different reading tastes, and that's also kind of how I curate the people that I watch. For example, on YouTube, I need that broad perspective and these different opinions. So I don't feel like I'm watching a specific set of people who all recommend the same books. So I'm not really sure how to answer this question, but I would say probably the book that's been recommended the most is The Secret History by Donna Tartt, which I still haven't read. And there too, I have heard some good things, I have heard some bad things, and I'm kind of excited to see where I stand on this one. But it's also one that for this exact reason is kind of intimidating me, and I feel like it's one that I kind of keep on my TBR for a very long time for like the day where I feel like picking it up, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but yeah, I guess that one's been recommended a lot to me. Question number 11 is name a book on your TBR that you are dying to read. I don't think I die on reading books, but I am very excited to read Diane Setterfield's The 13th Tale, and this will happen very soon because I'm going to be reading it with Loran from the channel Reading with Makar, and I'm very excited for it. Finally, question number 12 is how many books are there on your TBR shelf? So I have 110 books on my owned TBR. 75% are physical and they're pretty much on this shelf behind me. And on my want to read list, so books that I eventually might want to read but don't own yet in any form, I have 162 books. It doesn't feel like it's a lot, and I'm actually quite happy that I own about 100 books that I can pick and choose from. And yeah, I don't know what you guys think about this. What do you think is an appropriate TBR length? I know some people have like a TBR of 10 books and they just acquire books whenever they have read others. It's kind of crazy to think about the way that we also consume books on BookTube, or at least how it's shown in like videos and hauls and so on, because I personally don't have to look back in time very much to remember a time where that was exactly how I consumed books. I just bought one, read it, and eventually bought another one. So at the same time, it also feels like it's very decadent to own 100 books to choose from. But I would really, really like to know what you guys make of this. And yeah, tell me in the comments how many books are on your TBR. Do you have more physical books or more digital books? Let me know everything in the comments down below. I hope you're doing fine and you're taking care of yourself. And until next time, I hope you're reading great books, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!